Hello, Wildcat families, and welcome to another edition of Cat Chat Live. We are excited that so many of you have been attending our past Cat Chat Lives for move-in and student engagement and our UK campus police. We will have all of those available on our Facebook page, the recordings of those sessions on our Facebook page as well as our YouTube. So you can find all that information on our website for the Parent and Family Association. And we'll make sure as soon as this one is over to move a copy of this recording as well to our YouTube channel. Today, we are very excited to have some guests from our K-Week office to talk a little bit about what your students are going to experience this year at K-Week. It's always a really exciting time, and we want to make sure that your students are prepared and that you're prepared to answer their questions. So we hope that we'll be able to get to as many questions as we possibly can today. If you have a question throughout our broadcast, go ahead and put that question in the comments on Facebook, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. If we can't get to all of them today, we'll be sure to get in touch with you to make sure that you have all of your questions answered after the broadcast. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Nancy Stevens and Jackson Hughes from our K-Week office.
Thanks so much, Nikki. This is always an interesting Cat Chat Live because I feel like it is the place that my two programs that I work most closely with come together, where normally I'm participating in Cat Chat Live on behalf of the Parent and Family Association, but today I'm participating in Cat Chat Live on behalf of K-Week. So when I have not been in orientation and getting to know our incoming students and families, we have been hard at work back in the office, making sure that everything's coming together to make this a really amazing K-Week experience for our incoming students and families. One of the key things that makes K-Week possible every year is the involvement of our wonderful student leadership team. And so I'm excited to tell you about K-Week today, but I couldn't do it without a member of our K-Board. This is a leadership position within K-Week. It means that that Jackson has seen K-Week as an incoming student. He's been a member of our K-Crew in the past, and now he has moved up to K-Board. So Jackson, I so appreciate you being with us today and would love for you to introduce yourself to the families, let them get to know you as well.
For sure, thank you. My name is Jackson Hughes. I'm an incoming junior at the University of Kentucky. My major is computer engineering, computer science on a dual degree, and I'm a member of K-Board. Specifically, I handle marketing and technology. So if you follow us on Instagram, you've definitely seen some of my Instagram posts, and we have a lot of fun stuff coming, and we're all super excited on our K-Board, and all of our K-Crew are super excited as well.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that you all got a student perspective on K-Week. And again, we couldn't do it without our K-Board and our K-Crew, and appreciate Jackson making time to be with us here today. So as Nikki said, post those questions in the comments. We'll take as many as we can while we're here live today. But to get started, Jackson, we have a lot of different terminology that's part of K-Week, and would love for you to explain to families what it means to be on K-Crew, what a K-team is, and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. So K-Week, it seems like there are a lot of terms surrounding it, and it can get a little confusing, but it's really easy once you kind of get the basic three. So first off, K-Week is an orientation process. It's the second step that students use to come to campus to help them orient around where the classrooms are, meeting new people, getting involved, getting a ton of UK gear, and a super exciting time, not only for the incoming students, freshmen and transfers, but also for us as students who are already here trying to keep up the tradition. And part of the way we keep up the tradition is we are K-Crew leaders, or K-Board is like a super K-Crew leader. So K-Crew leaders are in charge of managing teams of incoming students, and those are called K-teams. And so oftentimes what will happen is your students will meet with your K-team, and then we'll take you to events or on tours, or we'll just be a resource for them to just text or call if they need us. And being K-Crew is something that a lot of students look forward to every year, and we just want to inspire the new incoming class.
All right, thanks for explaining that terminology, so everybody's on the same page with that. So I want to take a minute to more than a few minutes. Let's be honest, I like to talk about these events. I want to run us through the key events of K-Week because it will run, K-Week as a whole will run from Wednesday, August 17th to Sunday, August 21st. And we'll have dozens and dozens and dozens of events going on over the course of that 5-day period. But I want families and students to understand what the biggest events are, the ones that we think are most important, certainly not to take away from the others as well. But the biggest ones, the kind of highlights of K-Week, we call our key events. And so we want to take some time to run through the key events, give folks a sneak peek of what they'll experience there. These key events are all already up on the K-Week website, and we'll give you that web address at the end of the presentation today. But to get things started on Wednesday, August 17th, that will be the last day of Big Blue move-in for most of our incoming students. The 3 biggest move-in days will be Monday, August 15th, Tuesday the 16th, and then Wednesday the 17th. And so K-Week won't commence until that evening after the last Big Blue move-in appointment that day. Our students who are living in our residence halls will have their first floor meeting that night with the residence hall staff. And from there, they will attend the K-Week kickoff. This is a really fun event. It's going to be on South Lawn this year. That's a new spot on campus for many folks are not used to the term South Lawn. It is behind the 90 on South Campus. And for those of you who may be UK alums or longtime UK fans who are familiar with campus, that's the site of the old Kerwin Blanding complex. It looks very, very different than it did several years ago. And we're excited for that green space and to be able to use it for our K-Week kickoff. For our off-campus students, we're asking them to arrive at South Lawn, which is not far from Kroger Field parking at K-Lot. We'll ask them to come at 7:30 to meet with their K-teams for the first time. We'll have some additional information for them experiencing K-Week as students living off campus. And then our on-campus students will come over to South Lawn from their first floor meetings in the residence halls. Jackson, the K-Week kickoff in this form is not an event that you have gotten to see before. We have, been impacted by COVID, obviously, in the last couple of years. And so this is an event that only our seniors have seen before in their first year on campus. They ask us to bring it back. And it will be a lot of fun. At this K-Week kickoff, students will meet their K-Crew leader for the first time. They'll get to know the other members of their K-teams, and they will get to know a little bit more about what will be going on during K-Week and the university's expectations for their involvement and so on. So that will be a very brief opening to the K-Week kickoff. And then the vast majority of the time out there on South Lawn will be giving students an opportunity to get to know one another. We'll be playing a lot of games, a lot of interactive activities, and we'll have a lot of fun doing that. Jackson, some of these folks probably saw our Cat Chat Live about move-in that we offered on Tuesday. If you didn't get a chance to view that, I encourage you to go back to our Facebook page and check that out. A lot of good information there. But Jackson, if you could give them 1 or 2 tips related to the move-in process, what would you encourage families to know?
I remember my move-in process like it was yesterday. In fact, I'm in a dorm right now for the summer. So I think a couple of my tips are, I understand that move-in can be a little hectic. There are a bunch of emotions going around from students, from families. Whether you're living on campus in a dorm or off campus, it's still a nerve-wracking experience. And so I think what better way to kind of take your mind off of that and relax than to go to our K-Week kickoff later that day or later in the week if you move in earlier. One of my tips for moving in is making sure that, it's really important to plan everything, but making sure you're also stopping to breathe, take in the excitement that you're going to have just being on campus or in a new city or however your situation reflects that. And then one of my other tips is making sure that you keep your storage bins. You will need them to move out. Find a way to store them in your closet or under your bed. It's very helpful. I just had to do that.
All right, that's a good veteran tips from someone who's currently in a residence hall too. So again, the K-Week kickoff, the first night that our K-teams will be together. The K-team experience is really at the heart of what we do with K-Week. We know our incoming students are interested in meeting new people, We know that they are worried about going to events on their own. That always feels a little awkward, maybe a little lonely. And they're worried about how to find where these events are on campus. And so we have thought through all of those things in the planning of K Week, and the K teams help students have a group to go to events together with. They don't have to go alone. They don't have to worry about getting lost, or they can get lost together because everybody on the K team is a new student. They're experiencing this for the first time and can support one another in that experience. So we love the K teams. And again, we couldn't do K Week without our K Crew student leaders.
Nancy, can I jump in really quickly? We have a question from a parent who is wondering about transfer students. Are transfer students invited to K Week and to kick off, and what specifically for them?
Yeah, that is a great question. We make sure that everybody on campus knows that K Week is for all new students, and we don't just mean our first time freshmen, but for any transfer student, any new undergraduate to our campus is welcome to participate in K Week. For transfer students, we know that their needs are unique because they do have some college experience under their belt. If they want to join a K team, we would love to have them. If they feel like that is not something that meets their needs, that's an option for them as well. We won't be offended. We just want to make sure that they have the support they need as they're getting acclimated on our campus. So yes, events for transfer students during K Week. There's some that will be just for them that our partners in the UK Transfer Center will be hosting, and then they're welcome at these K team meetings and social events as well. So great question. Thanks for asking that. So that's Wednesday, the 17th, our opening night of K Week. Then Thursday, August 18th is our first full day of K Week. And during the day, all new students will be expected to attend a meeting held by their undergraduate college. Those will be held throughout the day. Each college has different needs for their students and different information they want to present. So all of the details about those college meetings are now up on the K Week website, so students can see the times and locations and a brief description for each of those college meetings on the 18th. Many of them include opportunities for students to get free stuff. We know that's of interest to them, and to give them an opportunity to get to know the administrators, faculty, staff, student organizations, and student leaders, as well as their fellow new students. So they have that during the day. And then at 7 p.m. From 7 p.m. to 11 p.m., UK Student Activities Board will be hosting an annual K Week tradition known as Campus Ruckus. It will be in a Kroger Field. This year, you can see a photo there on your screen from last fall's Campus Ruckus in Kroger Field. Jackson, can you tell families a little bit of what will be available for students at Campus Ruckus? And if you have any reflections on the college meeting, we'd be happy to hear those as well.
For sure. So Campus Ruckus is an event near and dear to my heart. We have over 500 registered student organizations on campus, and a list of that can be seen on our BB Involved website. But often a lot of people will go to this Campus Ruckus event and they'll be so confused about what it is and what's going on. But it's just a way for students to be able to get connected with different types of organizations on campus, and making sure that they're able to find a place that they feel they fit in, because we want to make sure that everyone feels welcome here at the university. And so oftentimes there are a lot of free stuff that students will be able to get, and they'll be able to have a lot of just different advantages, or they'll just make new friends. They don't even have to be on or be going to organization meeting afterwards. So it's a lot of fun. And then the college meetings during the day, the colleges work super hard to work with the K Week schedule and to be able to make sure students feel like they're ready for the first day of classes and they know what's going on. And so I know, especially in my college of Engineering, there's a lot of opportunities to make friends and get free stuff during the college meetings.
Yeah, as I've said on many occasions, we are not above luring students to these events with the promise of free food and free things. And certainly there will be multiple opportunities for those, even in the events we've already covered. I should have mentioned that the K Week kickoff at the end of that is where students will get the official K Week 2022 t-shirt. And so that's something that we love seeing folks wear on campus. Year after year, all the different versions of the K Week shirt. And then the Campus Ruckus t-shirt is always a hot commodity. And I know our our partners with Student Activities Board have ordered thousands and thousands of t-shirts to be ready to distribute at Camp Circus that night. They'll also have inflatables and free food and definitely the organization fair that Jackson mentioned as well. So a great opportunity to get plugged into some of the involvement opportunities on campus and see what's available there. So that's an exciting day. The fun keeps going on Friday, August 19th. During the day is a time where students have the opportunity to decide what programming they would like to participate in during Pick Your Path. Throughout the day, there will be multiple sessions offered by UK campus departments. Some of those are more academic in nature. I know our partners in transformative learning are working with faculty on campus to offer a session called Succeeding in a Large Lecture Classroom. We know many of our students have not been in a large lecture classroom setting before, and we want them to have some tips and tricks for success before they step foot in their classes on the first day. And so that's a great academic opportunity. There are also many different social opportunities, wellness opportunities during Pick Your Path. I know one of our student leaders talks passionately about how her very favorite K-Week event is Buses and Burritos on a Budget that was put together as a Pick Your Path opportunity between our colleagues in financial wellness and transportation services. So they took the bus together to the grocery. They talked about creating a budget, including budgeting for food and snacks and so on. And so she talked about how she learned how to use the bus at that event, and also learned more about financial wellness and so on. So many of our campus partners have come together to put together the Pick Your Path opportunities during the day, and the full schedule will be available before K-Week gets started. But we do encourage all of our students to select at least one path that day, but many of them choose multiple, and that's a lot of fun. So that will be going on throughout the day. And then that night is another favorite K-Week tradition, Big Blue U at 7 p.m. in Kroger Field. Our K teams will head over there together for a pep rally from UK Athletics, an address by UK President Eli Capilouto, and the class photo that is always one of the most fun traditions of K-Week. Jackson, any reflections on Pick Your Path or on Big Blue U that you want to share?
I remember going to Pick Your Path last year with some of my K team members, and I remember that they had so many good tips that even I didn't know, and I was already on campus at that point. So, a lot of those tips will stick with you for a lot of your undergraduate or professional careers. And Big Blue U on its own, I was able to take part in that last year for the first time, because during my K-Week we didn't have that. And so it was just such an exciting experience to be with all of these different incoming students and with all these different student leaders on campus, and just watch UK Athletics put on an amazing schedule for them. And it's an amazing time.
Yeah, it's a very cool opportunity for our students to be in Kroger Field. They're in the stands, many of them for the first time, but for some of our longtime Cats fans, maybe their first time as a UK student. It's where UK Athletics will teach our students the cheers, the chants, the songs. The UK Wildcat Marching Band supports them in that, and is an important part of that event. The Big Blue U experience also includes speeches from coaches, and it's a lot of fun. Speaking of our Wildcat Marching Band, I know that we always get questions every year from incoming marching band students and families about what their involvement in K-Week looks like. We know that they are very, very busy with band camp throughout that week. And we know that will result in them missing some of their K-Week activities, which is fine. We work closely with the marching band leadership so that they can be at things like their college meetings. And then the marching band experience, I think, inherently has a lot of the benefits that we look for in putting together K-Week as a whole. And so we understand that students will miss out on some things due to their involvement in band camp. But again, they will not start school at any kind of loss or anything. They will be connected to campus and to many other new students through their involvement in the Wildcat Marching Band. They will be at Big Blue U. They will be performing for the students. The first year band members will get a chance to be in the class photo. It will, it'll be a fun night. So Friday will be a really great day, and it's one that I'm looking forward to. So After that pace, the weekend, we give students a lot more choice over the weekend. Many of our registered student organizations will be hosting events and open houses throughout the day. On Saturday, we encourage students to check that full schedule of events when it's available prior to K Week and decide what most interests them. Over the course of the weekend, we will also be asking all of our K crew leaders to organize a time for their K teams to go together and explore campus and help our incoming students find their classroom buildings that they will be in this semester. We know that they may not have had a chance to check out where their different buildings will be, or to figure out how fast it will or how long it will take to get from one spot on campus to the other. And so that classroom tour is a time for them to get the lay of the land and to be able to anticipate how they'll be getting around campus once classes start. So they'll do that at a time that works for their group, either on Saturday or Sunday. And then Saturday evening, the highlight is going to be Catapalooza in our Gatton Student Center. Many of our K teams will choose to go to that together. It's a huge open house in the Student Center with lots of free things. It's a full carnival atmosphere. Jackson, what do you recall from attending Catapalooza last year?
I just remember that it was so hectic, but like a fun hectic. Our student center has a lot of offices in it with a bunch of resources for students, and that is the time for them to shine. They love helping our students and they love being a part of the community. And so it's just very exciting for students to be able to learn more about the university's resources. And then also last year, I remember there was live music at some point. There was tie-dye going on with custom UK shirts, and it was and there's like an airbrush artist. So it's a lot of fun to be a part of that.
Yeah, and I think that our Gatton Student Center partners have some fun activities up their sleeves this year. I've heard rumors of laser tag in one of the ballrooms. I know Jackson's already making plans to attend. I think you were likely going to be there anyway, but now you're clearing your calendar for sure. Laser tag, lots of giveaways and things like that. There will definitely be live music. WRFL, our campus radio station, has arranged to have that going on. I believe our partners in UK Dining are doing a beach bash dinner in Champion's Kitchen that night to start off the festivities. So a lot of fun planned for Saturday, August 20th. And then last but not least, Sunday, August 21st, again, more registered student organizations, events, and open houses. The K teams that did not meet on Saturday for their classrooms tour will get together on Sunday. There will be some other things going on, but we also know that it's the last day before classes start. And so even though our students won't always go to bed at a reasonable hour, we want to give them the opportunity to do so. And I know that our partners in the Office of Student Organizations and Activities are showing an outdoor movie that night as kind of a wrap-up event for K Week. I believe they're showing Secretariat on the main building lawn. So that will be a good way to wrap up K Week. Jackson, any other K Week memories or favorite events or things you'd like to share?
I had been on a couple of college tours and visits at UK specifically whenever I moved in was in K Week. So I didn't go to my K team's classroom tour, but I regret it so much because on my first day, freshman year, first semester, I was just turned around everywhere. I didn't know where my classrooms were. And so I would highly recommend that you go to them. A lot of the K crew leaders are very knowledgeable about campus. And even if they don't know, they're very resourceful in finding it. So it's going to be a group effort and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep, and we will definitely have support for wayfinding on the first few days of classes, so students don't have to worry about that either. So I want to talk a little bit more about where students and families will be able to find our full K-Week schedule of events, and the students will be able to find their K-Team assignments. The UK Guides mobile app is going to be a resource for all things K-Week. It is the same app that was used at Big Blue Nation orientation. So many of our students and many families may have already downloaded that. So you'll find a K-Week guide within that. I will warn you that if you go in and look at it today, you will see there's only a little bit of information about this fall's K-Week. I liken putting together K-Week every year, and I've had lots of experience doing this. I liken it to putting together a huge puzzle, not one of those puzzles that you can knock out on a rainy afternoon, but one of those puzzles that you work on in bits and pieces over the course of weeks. That's what it takes to put together K-Week. And even when you have big chunks of the puzzle complete, there's always some connector pieces that that are missing before you can put this full schedule of events out there. And so trust that our team is working behind the scenes with a number of campus partners to get those final details put into place. Everyone who participates in K-Week has to go through an event approval process. It's really not even just during K-Week. Throughout the year, any events that happen on campus have to go through this event approval process so that we know that they've thought of all of the details, that we've considered all of the risk management issues that might arise and so on. And so that process is wrapping up, but the full schedule of events will be in the UK Guides mobile app a few days prior to K-Week. And so I encourage you to go back and see that. The key events are already up on our website for students who need to see those dates and times and make plans. But then the full schedule will be found in the UK Guides app prior to K-Week. Same thing for the K-Team assignments. We have more than 230 student leaders who are leading K-Teams this year. We have to take the entire class and break them down into these small K-Teams for our K-Crew leaders to lead. For our on-campus students, those are based on where they're living in the residence halls. So we get very familiar with the residence hall blueprints to do that. And then for our off-campus students, those K-teams are based on their undergraduate colleges. And so we know that, going into Big Blue Nation orientation and so on, some students were still switching majors. So we assign those K-teams at the last possible minute to account for any housing changes that may have happened, any major changes that may have happened. But all of the information that our students need to have the best K-Week experience possible will be in the UK Guides mobile app a few days prior to K-Week. And so encourage folks to look for it there. Another thing that's helpful for our students to have ready to go to participate in K-Week is their BB involved event pass. We'll be taking attendance at multiple events during K-Week, many of the ones that we covered with you just now, but many of the other student organizations and campus departments will also be using Event Pass to take attendance. Although participation in K-Week is expected because it's part of the orientation process to UK, the attendance taking is not meant to be punitive, but it's meant for us to know which of our students are attending events, who's connecting on campus, who's taking full advantage of the resources, and then who maybe is not attending K-Week and may need some additional support and opportunities for connection with the university. And so we take that attendance data and follow up accordingly. But this event pass is something that students will use during K-Week and throughout their undergraduate experience. My event pass is saved on my phone. I need it from time to time as a university staff member. And so when students go to BB Involved, they log in with their Link Blue credentials. And when they go to the upper right-hand corner of the page and find their BB Involved account, there will be a place for them to download their event pass. I know many students either screenshot it or save it to their Apple Wallet or something like that. And they'll be asked to show that it will be scanned as they enter many of these events. Jackson, how often do you think you end up using your event pass through the course of a year?
All the time. I went to student activities board events all the time last year, especially bingo. Love that. So I added it to my wallet, so it was really easy for me to just double tap the locks button on my phone and it was just there. And I know that most phones have a way of doing that.
Yeah, it's super handy and something that students will use during K-Week and beyond. So it's a good idea for them to go ahead and get that downloaded. If they're unable to or have any issues, their K-Crew will be able to assist them, but that's something that they can go ahead and get done prior to K-Week starting. Jackson, I think you have some tips for students in making the most of K-Week.
I absolutely do. I have been through a couple of K-Weeks, as Nancy has said, and this is going to be another one that I'm super excited for. And so a couple of my tips are here on the PowerPoint. And so I really wanted to emphasize to get out of your room and meet people. I was very shy my freshman year, all throughout the year, and I feel like I didn't have as many friends as I could have, even though I knew a ton of people. So just getting out of your room and making more connections, and maybe you'll find someone who you're going to connect with and be close with your whole undergrad career, or even possibly your whole life. And that starts here at K-Week. And so it's just very good opportunity. And then make the most of your schedule and make it work for you. And attendance is taken, but you want to try to go to as many as you can. If you can't make one, that's more than okay. That's why we have so many events, and that's why it's a week long. We know that sometimes students have jobs or different orientations for any programs they might be a part of or any scholarships. And so just making that schedule work for you is what's going to help. And part of that is giving yourself time to recharge and energize and take a breath and just take it all in. And so whenever you're able to come back and you're ready, you're got it, you're excited. And then relying on the built-in support system, the reason that we have so many people who are student leadership and who are staff and faculty that are here to support students are because we want to make the most of your experience and we want you to enjoy your experience. So that is through your K crew, that's through your residence directors and RAs and peer mentors and any sort of staff like Nikki and Nancy. We all love answering questions and we all want to be there to support you. And part of that is by checking your email daily. We send so many email updates, but not too many that it's overwhelming. I have my personal email on my Apple mail, and then I have Outlook, and it specifically sends me notifications for just my UK email. So I'm always up to date. It's high importance and it's just really easy. And you'll need that throughout your entire undergraduate here.
Those are good tips, Jackson. I think you're right that we want students to strive for balance during K-week. We want them to stay busy. We want them to take advantage of this time to get acclimated before classes start, but we also don't want them to be overwhelmed. We want them to get some rest. We want them to take a break, you know, if they're still setting up their rooms or getting settled that way. We want them to have time for that as well. So striving for balance, attending as much as they're interested in, and again, taking advantage of this opportunity to get connected on campus. We also have some tips for families and supporting students who are going through the K-week experience. This resonates for me, although my own children are not college age yet. I have just sent them off for 2 weeks of summer camp. I get the chance to pick them up tomorrow. And so I know it has been a weird feeling to not know what they're up to day in and day out. And so I have been sending them emails. I have gotten no letters in return, and that is a point that I will speak to them about tomorrow. But as you're communicating with your student during K-week, ask them what events they're attending. We want to be encouraging them to get out of their rooms and to connect on campus. This is the best opportunity for them to do that. And so encourage them to take full advantage of everything that's going on during K-week. For many of our students, it might feel awkward for them to knock on the door next to them and say, hey, I'm going to go grab lunch at Champion's Kitchen. Do you want to go with me? But you know your student best. Encourage them to step out of their comfort zone and invite folks to go to events together, to maybe check out some of those student organization events and open houses together, to go grab meals together. Everyone is feeling this same awkward and is looking for someone who's willing to take the first step. So encourage your student to consider doing that. We hear many stories year after year of students who meet their close friends during K-week, and many of them come because they said hi to somebody in an elevator or they knocked on the door next to them. So encourage your student to do that. We also know that you're interested in what's going on campus and around Lexington. We know that many of you are using that as an opportunity to encourage your student to check out what's going on. So if you're wondering who to follow on social media, if that's something that is part of your routine, we encourage you to follow the UK official social media accounts on all the platforms. Follow the UK Parent and Family Association. K-Week has social media accounts on Twitter and Instagram. Our student activities board is programming throughout the year and has such fun things for students to do. And that's another way to encourage them to connect on campus by going to those events. And then Visit Lex is our Lexington Convention and Visitors Bureau. And so they're always sharing things that are going on in Lexington. We want students to feel comfortable here on campus. We also want them to explore what's available to them in Lexington, and following Visit Lex on social media is a great way to do that. We know that as students are finding their footing here on campus, some of them will hit the ground running. Some of them may feel a little homesick. Some of them may want some additional support. Our faculty and staff are here to help, but we are not mind readers. So we definitely want students to reach out for help. And so if you think your student would benefit from the support of somebody on campus, encourage them to talk to their academic advisor, talk to their K crew leader, talk to their RA. We're all here to support and assist. And as Jackson said, it's important for our students to be checking their email daily so that they know what is going on. Speaking of email, I want to leave you with our contact information for K-Week questions. And then certainly, Nikki, we want to hear what's come in on the comments. The K-Week website is kweek.uky.edu. There's some good basic information there about K-Week. And it will continue to be updated as we get closer to August 17th. And then there's our email address, phone number, and where you can find us on Twitter and Instagram.
Great, thank you so much. There are a couple of questions that have come in. One question is specifically about the class photo. So maybe you could talk a little bit about the class photo and just set some expectations about what that process is like, and how students can access that photo once it's been taken.
The class photo is always a lot of fun and interesting to see it come together. My oldest son last year managed to talk his way up with the university photographer to the top of Kroger Field to get a bird's eye view of that photo as it was being taken. So he said that was a really cool opportunity. Taking the class photo is literally herding cats. We are herding wildcats in this case, and moving thousands of people into place for a class photo takes some time. So we do always encourage our students to be patient as it's coming together. It takes a while to move all of the students out of their seats in Kroger Field and onto the field. Our students are typically excited, thrilled to be on the field where our Wildcats will be playing and having a really awesome season under the leadership of Will Levis. I'm really pumped about football season, if you couldn't tell. So they get to go on the field at Kroger Field, and a lot of them, as they're stepping down onto the field or coming through the tunnel onto the field, have their phones out and they're taking photos and all of that. So yeah, we direct all of the students into the shape of the state of Kentucky. We snap the photo that night. It goes on social media pretty quickly after the event, and then we work with our campus photographer to make that available for download. It typically takes us a couple of days to get that online because we're off busy doing the next few K-Week events. I also know that many families have questions about first day of school photos. I know that's a tradition in my household with my kids. They begrudgingly, take a picture for me on their first day of school. That may be a tradition for your family as well. The UK Parent and Family Association will be out in partnership with our colleagues in the UK Alumni Association. Will be out on Monday, August 22nd in 2 different locations on campus this year, taking first day of school photos, and we'll have all of that information in the K-Week mobile app for students. We'll also be putting it out on UK Parent and Family Association social media. So you can encourage your student. I think some families do more than encourage their student. They order their student to go find us on campus to get that first day of school photo taken. We can always tell those students, Nikki and I can, when we're out there taking the photos, they kind of walk up and they're like, my mom told me I had to come here. They very rarely implicate dad in it, but a lot of them come because their mom told them to. So encourage your student to check that out.
All right, so a couple of questions about resources available. Let's talk a little bit about mental health resources that might be available during K-Week, or will there be an opportunity for students to learn about mental health resources during K-Week at some point?
Yeah, absolutely. All of our university support services will be up and ready to go with the arrival of students back on campus. And really, they've been around all summer long because we always have students on our campus, even during the summer. Jackson's a good example of that. In particular, I think a great place for students who want to connect with the UK Counseling Center. They will be hosting a Pick Your Path on Friday, August 19th. I believe, it's a self-care focused path, and so would encourage students to check that out. But yeah, all of our campus resources, including those dedicated to mental health, will be up and running and available to students who need them, now during K-Week and beyond into the school year.
Well, speaking of Pick Your Path, are all the Pick Your Path events just drop-in events, sort of come and go as you please, or are certain events a little different? What does Pick Your Path look like?
Yeah, that depends. We have a lot of different options for students that day. Most of the Pick Your Path sessions are 90 minutes, so they're not meant to be come and go. They're meant to be a chance to take a deeper dive into a topic or to experience something together. So yeah, not necessarily a come and go. Students can certainly attend multiple throughout the day, but it's kind of like going to a movie. You don't want to get up in the middle of it and go see what's playing next door. You're committed to the movie at that point. For the most part, students can just drop in at the beginning of the Pick Your Path they're interested in. There may be one exception. It's being finalized on the K-week schedule, so I hesitate to commit to it right here. But all of the information about how students access these different paths will be in the schedule that will appear in the UK Guides mobile app. So just encourage students to check the details for the events they want to participate in.
Perfect. Now, this next question is for Jackson. Jackson, I know that you have served as a K crew leader in the past, and that is a leader who has helped some of these new students who are on K teams together kind of get around campus during K week. But can you talk a little bit about what it's like to be a K crew leader and kind of what kind of experiences can these new students expect in their K teams?
Being a K crew leader is a great opportunity for us as student leaders, and it's a great opportunity for us to meet new incoming students and to just inspire them. And so a lot of our K crew leaders are at that first KT meeting, super excited to meet who they're going to be sharing the rest of their week with, super excited to be talking with them. What we do is once we get our list, we invite everybody to a group meet and we'll email them as well. So everybody can kind of get to know each other and we can share about ourselves and get to know other people. But we are all so excited for K week. The reason we are doing this isn't just because we like leading, but also because we enjoyed our K week. And so it's just, we are there as a resource for students, and we just want to make their K week the best, like ours was.
We really couldn't do K week without the K crew, and it's so much fun to get to work with them. They have, they were, applying and interviewing and going through training in our spring semester. We've been in touch with them throughout the summer. We've continued to have students up even until last week asking if there was still an opportunity to join K crew. And so I think they enjoy the chance to get to do K week another time. And many students will return year after year. I've been talking to several of our student leaders who are seniors and are graduating in May, and they're remarking that this is their last K week and that that's bittersweet for them. And again, we just love that they come back year after year to be part of this experience and to help us support our incoming students.
And can you talk a little bit more specifically about which students can expect to be automatically placed onto K teams? And if for some reason someone doesn't get placed on a K team, what they might do in that situation?
Yep. So all incoming students are placed on a K team. Again, those K teams are assigned for our on-campus students based on where they are living in their residence hall. So they'll be on the same K team as their suite mates and in the folks in the suites around them. And then for our off-campus students, those are done by undergraduate college so that they'll have a chance to start getting to know the folks who may be in classes and in study groups with them and so on. We do those K team assignments based on the information that we get about where all of our students are living on campus. If for some reason students are unsure which K team they're supposed to join, they can ask their RA, they can join the K team for their suite. All of that information is there for them. And certainly if there are any questions or anything we need to troubleshoot, we encourage them to reach out to the office to do that.
And will transfer students automatically be placed on a K team?
Yep, for sure. If they're living in the university residence halls, they will be. And then when our off-campus K teams are found in the mobile app, they'll be able to see, I'm in the College of Education, I'm last name this through this, and they'll be able to see what K team they're joining to. Again, with transfer students, we understand that they have unique needs. And so if the K team experience is not something they're looking for, we will not be offended. We encourage them to take advantage of it, but we'll understand if it doesn't meet their needs at the time.
Now, if we have a student who is moving in on Wednesday afternoon and they unload and they get everything in their residence hall, but they still need some time to unpack, or maybe their family wants to go and take them to Kroger or whatever that would be, could they come back and do that during K week?
Could the family come back or could the student come back?
Could the family come back during K week to do that?
So I would encourage folks to check with the residence halls about the visitation policies that are in place during K-week and the opening of the semester. Families do need to be accompanied by their students whenever they're in the residence halls. And so I know in the past occasionally we've gotten questions from families who want to send the student on to the first residence hall floor meeting or to the K-week kickoff, and they'll just stay back and set up the room. And unfortunately, that is not allowed with residence life visitation policy. So students need to be with families. They're asked throughout the year to accompany any guests that they may have in the halls, to accompany them at all times. So we, again, on Thursday, the students aren't in college meetings all day. On Friday, they can pick and choose on Pick Your Path. So there is definitely time throughout K-week for students to continue to get that residence hall room set up. One thing that is even an opportunity for our students who are moving in prior to the evening of August 16th, UK has a strong partnership with Kroger, and Kroger has a big store that's, I mean, open to everybody certainly, but is a favorite of our college students on Euclid Avenue. So Tuesday evening, Kroger will be providing buses to their Euclid store for students who may need to pick things up. They'll also have lots of giveaways and fun activities there in the store. So for any students who want to make a run to Kroger Tuesday night, that's an opportunity for them to pick up things that they may need for their halls, or just go check out the fun.
Great. Now, if a student needs, if they're going to K-week events and maybe they need medical attention, will there be folks on site at all of these different events, that medical staff, or what's the best way for students to get medical attention if they need it during a K-week event?
For the large scale K-week events, Campus Work is Big Blue Youth, things like that, when we have that many people together, we do have EMS support on staff. If, for some of these smaller events, I can't guarantee that all of the student organizations and departments that are hosting will do that. So if students need emergency medical attention, would encourage them to dial 911, do what they would do, were they not on campus at that point. But yeah, for the largest K-week events, we will certainly have support staff around for all of those needs.
Great. Well, we are, I think we've gotten through most of the questions today. So we'll give you a few more minutes. If you have last minute questions, go ahead and stick them in the comments. I think that it's really helpful to be able to answer them live if at all possible. But while we're waiting, I will just say that this will be my 8th K-week here at the University of Kentucky, and I've never seen a welcome week done like this anywhere else. And so it's a really fun, exciting time for your students. But it's also going to be an exciting time for you when your students are calling to tell you all about the fun they've had, right? But what happens, Nancy, specifically if your student, goes to K-week and maybe calls and they say they haven't had a good time, or maybe they haven't found the friends that they thought they would? What's some tips that you might have for families as they're coaching their students through those situations?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that question. And then I would love to hear Jackson's perspective on it too. As a student, I was, I almost hesitate to admit it now, but I'm not too proud to say that many, many years ago, when I was a first-year college student, I was absolutely homesick. I went to school about 45 minutes away from home, and am naturally introverted. Even though my job asked me to do a lot of presenting, I'm naturally maybe not that outgoing. I need the pep talk about getting out of my comfort zone. And so I definitely remember being homesick during the early days on campus. And I was calling home, and my dad worked here at UK for many years, and so told me a lot of the things that I suspect I would tell my own kids if they were to go through the same experience in a few years. And he was telling me to stick it out, to even though it took some courage to knock on the door next to me and ask folks to go to dinner together, to go to campus events, to understand that these things can take time. It may seem sometimes like everybody around you is finding their friend groups very, very quickly, but that isn't always the case. And so I encourage students to go to events, to reach out to RAs and K crew and folks who are there to support them, but to give it a little time, because when you're joining a new community, these things aren't instantaneous. And this is a big life transition for them. And so just encourage them to give themselves some grace and know that it doesn't happen overnight, and it takes a little bit of effort on their part too. And I know that's hard on parents to see as well, and families as they're supporting their student. Jackson, what's your perspective on that?
I think that you hit most of the important things that I would discuss also. I think everybody who goes through life can kind of think about an experience where they were somewhere completely new and they either knew a couple of people that weren't close with them, or they didn't know anybody at all, or they had a lot of friends and they just wanted to kind of meet some new people and they didn't really get that satisfaction. And I would say that I was kind of the opposite of you, Nancy. At first, I was ready to move in. I was excited, but that kind of went down and I got more introverted during my K week. But I spoke to my K crew leader, and our K crew leaders during our trainings, we have these scenarios about these types of questions so that we know how we would want to be answered and then how we can answer other students. And so we are here to support them if nothing else, and we want to make sure that they feel welcome and at home. And oftentimes we will become their friends, but we want to make sure that they're also finding people that are in their residence hall or that are in their college that can kind of help them through their first semester. And so we love to help them. We will reach out to them if we hear something or if we notice that they're not really having the time of their life, and that's okay. We just want to make sure that they're making those connections and finding resources if they need them.
Yeah, and I know in sending my own kids off to camp, I was just recently doing the pep talk of reminding them times in the past where they have been in situations where they didn't know anybody, sports teams that they've joined, going to a new school for the first time. Remind them of all those times that they have navigated similar situations in the past, and remind them that it went well there, that they, if they had feelings of discomfort or uncertainty, that they were able to work through those, and that I have faith that they can do it again. So they've looked happy in their camp photos. So we'll see how it went when I pick them up tomorrow.
Excellent. Well, we just appreciate everyone being here today. We are super excited about K Week. We hope you and your students are too. If you have additional questions that we didn't get to today, please feel free to email the K Week website. It's on the screen, or give us a call, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you or your students may have. This recording of this video is available on our Facebook page and will also be available on our YouTube page. And you can access our YouTube page through our website, and I've put the website link in the comments. So we hope everyone has a great rest of the summer. Enjoy this time with your students, and good luck with moving. And again, the Parent Family Association is here. If you have any questions about opening of term, we would love to help. All right. Have a great day. Go Cats.